Hey there, thanks for tuning into Duckbricks. I'm Chris, and the time has come. I am incredibly excited to officially kick off the latest LEGO Bionicle Fanon contest surrounded around the Yesterday quest, which of course introduced us to 3 key Toa. Now, I asked you, the audience, how you would like this contest to be held. Whether you'd like it to focus on all 3 Toa at once, or instead hold 3 separate contests for the Toa individually. And well, the results came in and it was a surrounding vote in favor of splitting up the contest on Toa Orde, Toa Kiara, and Toa Zarya separately to really give each member of the Yesterday Questers their own focus. However, I do recognize that folks do want to get these contests done as soon as possible, so what I have done is I've managed to work with our incredible team as well as the incredible folks sending over prizes for the contests to make sure that we can literally run one right after the other. So we're about to kickstart several months worth of some really exciting Bionicle Fanon contests, and let me explain to you exactly how this is going to work right now, starting with Toa Orde. As usual, there is a document linked in the description below that talks through the prizes, the details, and how exactly to submit your entries for this contest. But we are doing something a little bit different with the Yesterday Questers, because we are going to be running every single contest one after another with literally no breaks in between. That is pretty much the compromise we were able to settle on between the groups of people wanting the contests to be run all at once versus the folks wanting them to be run individually, and hopefully this will allow for a ton of fun but also a lot of contests for the next few months. Of course, we are starting off with contest number 8, Toa Orde, and that is part of the Yesterday quest. Now, Toa Orde is the first Toa of Psionics. He appeared in the story serials based around the Yesterday quest, which were actually unfinished, but left a big impact on the Bionicle fandom. Now, all we know from the story serials is that Orde was the first Toa of Psionics, and we really don't have any other information. However, there have been additional information that have surfaced about Orde and the other Toa of Psionics that hopefully will be helpful in terms of how to map out your entry other than just to make a Toa. In 2009, Greg Farshty, the author of the Bionicle story serials, stated that all Toa of Psionics have blue and gold armor. While we won't be necessarily mandating this, I would definitely highly recommend for you to include blue and gold armor on your entries, because after all, this is community voted, and folks are going to vote for the one they feel is most canon compliant. In 2022, he also stated that Orde wielded a mace on the TTV message boards. This was our only other concrete piece of information about the weapon and Toa tool that he used, and since this doesn't appear in the story serials themselves, we won't be mandating it, but again, I would be very surprised if an entry that didn't wield a mace won, because people will simply vote for the ones that they actually believe fit the story best. I've attached a couple of quotes about the Psionics Toa on the documents below, including a quote about Orde himself, as well as their powers. Of course, he is the very first and only male Toa of Psionics, who is naturally aggressive and easily angered, but also incredibly brave and strong-willed in the face of adversity. This is one of the most interesting characters created near the final run of Bionicle, and I personally cannot wait to see people's take on Orde. And of course, I've already seen a lot of people's mocks gearing up for this contest, so I can't wait to see how they do. Now, to jump briefly into the rules of how this is going to work, let's just take a quick look at essentially how the entries are going to work. This is going to function the exact same way as the previous canon contests and Fanon contests, where basically you can either create Toa Orde built with primarily Bionicle or Technic pieces, you can also use system pieces, so you can totally just go crazy, and of course you can also choose to create your entry with any piece of artwork you may desire. Really, any medium of art is allowed. You can pretty much go crazy with creativity, and the point of this is to have as little to no restrictions as possible. Now, there are some general rules, and you can feel free to read through this if you actually have any points. One thing I do want to stress is that, of course, you do need to put your contact information on the form when we ask for you to explain who you are. Some people have said, "You know who I am," or just simply written Instagram without any sort of link to your bio. Unfortunately, if we do receive those entries, those will be disqualified, because there is literally no way for us to tell who you are if you just write Instagram without explaining how to contact you. So please do provide an actual link to contact you, and otherwise, you should be good to go. Of course, page 2 in the form here is how to enter, and there is a link to submit your entries. Clicking that link will bring you to a Google form on how to submit your entries, where you're going to be asked how to link your contest submission on a public website, a link to breakdown photos, instructions, or studio files if it is a mock, your exact title for your entry, and the display name for the entrant. This is actually a new set of forms that we've included for this contest, but it'll make it a lot more smooth for our reviewing team to be able to generate the displays for your entries. Lastly, there is a link to provide custom 3D element links in case you used any, as well as a link to contact you if you won. Also, you can determine whether or not you are resubmitting a prior entry. If you hit yes, you will then be submitted to a form that asks you why you are resubmitting. That helps us just understand the amount of times people have resubmitted. Moving on from that, there will be a voting period held publicly for folks to place your votes on who is the best, and then we get to prizes. Before we get to prizes though, this is the brief schedule. Today is Wednesday, June 12th, and this will run for about 2 weeks until June 26th, upon which they will close at 11:59 p.m. EST. We'll have a few days to manually check and review each entry for rule compliance, and then starting at the beginning of July, there will be a 2-week voting period and the winner announcement. And I expect to launch the next Fanon contest for Yesterday Questers Part 2 shortly afterwards, in the days after July 16th, so definitely stay tuned because this is gonna be a crazy few months of contests. But now, it's time to take a look at the prizes. And one thing I'm doing a little bit differently for prizes this time is that we've actually pre-prepared prizes for every single one of the Yesterday Questers, and they are pretty much ready to go. Which means that I'm incredibly excited to announce just the first of many prizes that will be populating through the TOA Yesterday Questers contest, including some custom Bionicle masks and signed items by Christian Faber, co-creator of Bionicle. But first, let's take a look at first place. So if you win first place, you will receive a custom ornate melded gold and blue Kanohi Sanok. This has been crafted by Nate's Mask Shop, which you can check out linked in the document, and 3D modeled by Galva on Thingiverse. And this is the grand prize of the contest. It is absolutely a beautiful piece, and I can't wait to see how folks use it in their builds. The second prize that you get for winning first is your first pick of 3 custom dark blue resin-casted Kanohi Sanoks, which have been made by Buryu's Forge, which you can also check out linked in the document, and these of course have been designed by both King K and Galva, and you have your pick as to which one you want. And then, the final prize, and some would argue the most exciting, is that you can receive a signed comic signed by co-creator of Bionicle Christian Faber, who has kindly donated some of these comics and his signature to the contest itself, and you get to choose which one you want from the comics shown on screen right now. Of course, if you win second place, you get not only a second pick of the Kanohi Sanoks, as well as a second pick of a signed Bionicle comic, but you also get a grab bag of original Bionicle G1 elements from Christian Faber's private collection. Some of these might have been used in promotional materials, test materials, as well as some rare Bionicle Kanohi masks, which grab bags will include, so I hope you enjoy. And finally, the third place winner will receive their third pick of the mask, as well as a third pick of a signed Bionicle comic by Christian Faber. So all 3 top winners will be receiving a signed comic. Many thanks to Christian Faber for making this possible. Of course, here is a sneak peek at the future contest schedule, and we really do hope to be able to keep this. Orde is first, then Kiara, then Zarya, and then we'll close out the year with Merendar if people are up for it. Although that one, I can foresee getting pushed if we absolutely need to, but I definitely do intend to run the next 2 Yesterday Questers one after another, so stay tuned for that, and I can't wait to see you at the entries. Of course, if you want to see a running tally of all of the entries, including yours, this document linked here will provide you a look at the running entries of TOA Orde. This is updated fairly infrequently, so if you don't see your entry immediately, no worries at all. It is probably going to be in the process of being added here, but this is the way to check which number your entry is on the list. Alright, and with that, we have summed up the contest announcement for BIONICLE Fanon Contest, the yesterday questers, Toa Orde, the first Toa of Psionics. I cannot wait to see what you come up with, and I've already seen some incredible mocks already. So, if you want to enter the competition, go ahead and click the link in the description below to read through the rules and access the link to enter. I hope to see your entries, and thank you so much. Be sure to like and subscribe for even more LEGO news, reviews, discussion, and analyses coming your way very soon, and bye for now.